Now, President Trump continues to roll back Obama-era regulations in order to basically scrub everything that Obama did off the books and off the record. Well, that's great. Now, one of the newest things he wanted to get rid of is that on Monday he repealed a regulation that would have encouraged federal contractors, people that we give to our tax money to follow labor laws. This was a regulation saying, hey, the labor laws that we have, you have to follow them, or else you're not going to get a contract. Trump said, no, too much. Let's get rid of that. You don't have to follow labor laws anymore. We're just going to give you money. And if you want to do wage theft, or if people keep getting injured on the job, who cares? Who cares? Now, under this Obama-era rule, companies with a egregious record of violating wage and safety laws would lose government contracts if they did not fix their face and, basically come under compliance. Now, the idea behind this rule is, of course, make sure that employers didn't receive taxpayer money to screw over their employees. But again, Republicans said, hey, that's too punitive to businesses. That is too punitive towards businesses. We want to make sure that they don't have these regulations. So if they feel like they can screw over, or if they want to screw over their employees and do wage theft, that's cool. We're not going to ask questions. Now, they used a tool known as the Congressional Review Act in order to kill this regulation. They've been using this tool, if you will, to destroy all sorts of Obama-era regulations without actually having to go through the actual Congress. Now, by approving this legislation, Trump has ensured not only that this will die, but that no similar regulation can be put forth by the Labor Department ever again. So this is even worse. Not only are they killing these regulations, they're making sure that you can't even put any more like it forward. That's crazy. And of course, he signed it. Now, look, why do we need this rule in the first place? I think it should be pretty obvious. Numerous reports have shown that federal contractors who receive federal money or continue to receive this federal taxpayer money even after cheating their employers out of pay or endangering them on the job with lax safety rules. Under that Obama rule, firms that bid on federal contracts would have to disclose previous labor violations from a period of 3 years, including any times that they were found to have broken laws pertaining to collective bargaining, civil rights, health and safety, or minimum wage and overtime. Because, hey, you know what? We don't need any of those things. Do we, Ron? Absolutely not. That is onerous regulations on our business. How dare you? You are killing jobs. You are murdering. You are old yellering those damn jobs. It's
So
crazy.
they say.
So they say. Now,
Yeah,
these violations... Hold
I'm
on.
sorry.
These violations wouldn't necessarily prevent a firm from winning a federal contract, just as long as it took steps to fix the problems. So really, it's not even that onerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I guess it's very cruel irony what this administration is doing to the working class behind closed doors. And the cruel irony, of course, is that Trump sold the snake oil to the working class more than any other group. I mean, that's the reason why Pennsylvania, the state I grew up in, went red for the first time since 1988 in a presidential. It's the reason that your home state, Michigan, went red. It's the reason Wisconsin went red. Well, that and the fact that Hillary didn't even bother to go there. He sold the working class some snake oil, and they bought it. And nobody is really shining a big light on the fact that he has taken some huge steps to dismantle the working class indefinitely. I mean, he also has something out there for right to work to go federally, or to go federal, excuse
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
federally, to go federal. If that happens, unions are completely dead. Like, unions are done if something like that happens. If right to work becomes a federal law, which, by the way, that policy is a disaster. I used to live in a right to work state.
I do
It
right
is
now.
a disaster. It does not help with jobs at all. It is just corporate theft and exploitation. That's what it is. And that's going on. No one's talking about that. You don't hear the Democrats talking about that. The Democrats can't even move to endorse a $15 minimum wage, which by the way is behind inflation. Even the Democratic mayor of Baltimore just vetoed it in her city.
Yep.
And meanwhile, the Trump administration is trying to gut the working class completely which is really, as far as him being elected, biting the hand that feeds, but he doesn't care, or he's too dumb to even realize it. And nobody's shining a light on this except for outlets like this, except for, places like TYT, places like the Jimmy Dore Show, like TYT Nation, and then, places like The Intercept and stuff like that. Nobody on MSNBC is talking about it. No one on CNN is talking about it. No one, of course, no one on Fox News is talking about it. And this is a huge statement as to where class is as far as our media. And when you have pundits making the type of money that they make, MSNBC is not the left. They are the corporate left. So the only thing they're going to talk about is the Russia story. Why? Because they're just butthurt that they lost. They don't care about the people that are going to suffer because of this loss. They just care about the loss. It's a class thing more than anything else at this point. And the fact that the working class, the workers in this country, is a non-issue that's being talked about. Well, the Trump administration is proposing disasters more significant than anything we've seen, even compared to Reagan. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, MSNBC has been doing some town halls in places where they have the working class. A little late, but at least they're there. They're bringing out Bernie Sanders and doing these town halls with people. So I got to give them a little bit of credit.
They're there because they learned that Bernie was good for ratings. That's why they're there. Don't pat them on the back.
At least they're there.
They don't deserve a pat on the back.
Oh, well. I'm just saying at least we're getting some sort of, at least we're presenting these people and their points of view. At least we're showing them that people, in these areas, they're not all, and this is what kind of bothered me a little bit. There is a significant part of the Trump base that is racist. No doubt about that. There's also a significant chunk that is just not racist and are just worried about economic issues.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm saying, if you're going to pat someone on the back for that, pat Bernie Sanders on the back.
Well, of course.
He deserves it, not MSNBC. He'd be there whether MSNBC was there or not.
That's true. And he did promise that he would continue to go back. And he did, whereas we're still waiting on Hillary Clinton to go back to Flint.
I'd rather she just not go anywhere, actually. We just have that. I'd rather she just go away.
Well, you are actually getting your wish there, because she has not. I don't think she's emerged from wherever, from the woods yet. At least not so much. Not so much. But back to these regulations, and back to the fact that Donald Trump is destroying the working class. What did you think was going to happen? This is somebody who's big business, who's a very rich person, right? You thought that guy was going to be on your side? Did you? This guy who's a billionaire celebrity, right? And this goes back into the whole celebrity thing, right? Whereas a lot of conservatives love to trash on celebrities. Oh, liberal Hollywood. But whenever a conservative celebrity comes around, they laud him with praise. Hell, they elect him. They did that twice. Ronald Reagan and now Donald Trump. They love celebrity. They just love celebrity that's on their side because they look at the fame. They look at the how much money they have and the fact that he's a business owner. I love people that do business. Business is the ones that's crushing you right now. You realize that? Big corporations and the very rich are the ones that are crushing you right now. They're taking away your union rights. Unions are what made this country strong. That's what made the economy great for so many people. Unions. The ability to collectively bargain. And now the Trump administration is completely taking that away. They're looking at taking that away, and they're also looking at eliminating rules to prevent your tax money from going to companies that cheat their workers. Wage theft. It's where they literally are taking money out of your pocket, out of your paycheck, and putting it into theirs. That's why it's theft. That's why it's called theft. And no, we're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna focus on this issue because we're okay with that. I mean, anybody who's not really talking about this, that doesn't think that this is an issue, whether it be politicians or media figures, well, they're kind of putting an okay sanction on it. Like, yeah, this is fine. This is what corporations are human beings, and they should be allowed to steal from you.
Mm-hmm.
In what world is that okay?
Well, and another point to your, what did you expect was going to happen with Trump? Why did you think this guy was on your side? He also has quite a storied reputation of screwing over workers.
Yes, not paying people and like getting people to do a job for him and then saying, "Oh, I'm actually not going to pay you. I don't think it was good enough, so I'm just not going to pay you." No. Well, I'm not really happy with the direction the Trump administration is going. Maybe I shouldn't pay my taxes.
Right. Yeah.
That's essentially how this is going.
That.
I'm not happy with the fact that we just killed 100 people in an airstrike over in the Middle East. I'm not happy about that.
I think it was closer to 150, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not happy about that. Maybe I shouldn't pay them because they did a bad job. Maybe we shouldn't pay our congressman. Maybe we shouldn't pay the president because they're doing a bad job. We don't like that. We don't like what he's doing. We don't agree with it. So we shouldn't have to pay, right?
Yeah, I wish we could just allocate exactly where our tax dollars go. Like how like in certain schools, like when you make a donation, you have to like you're allowed to designate where it goes. Like this has to go to the arts department or whatever else. Like I think that'd be amazing if like we the people had a say in where our taxes go. So we can actually say this can't go to the military industrial complex. This
Right.
can't go. This has to go to, we want PBS back. Here's our $1.47. Give it back, you idiot.
Here's my 30 cents in food stamps. Okay, that I want it go to food stamps to make sure people don't go hungry. And then I want this much money to go to health care so that we can all guarantee, like every industrialized nation in the world, that everybody has access to health care. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I know that sounds like a pipe dream, but really, like, taxation without representation is kind of how
it's literally
America,
why,
as we know it, was founded, right? So we should be able to do that.
It's literally why we have an issue. Why the founding fathers had an issue.
Yeah, they weren't fans.
They also were not fans of giant corporations, by the way. I mean, look up the East India East India Trading Corporation, I believe. East India Trading Company. They were not fans. In fact, that was I believe it was their tea they dumped in the harbor.
Well, a lot of like the early thinkers, people like to cherry pick and overlook how progressive a lot of those ideas were compared to the way they've been adopted. Like even if you read like Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, if you actually read that entire book, there's a lot of ideas in there that have been adopted and cherry picked to, justify crony capitalism.
Yeah.
But he was also calling for really good living wages. He was also calling for not a huge gap between the CEO and the workers. He was also calling for money being put back into the economy by compensating workers fairly. That's all in there too. Like, he's basically saying, hey, capitalism's this neat idea, but we still need that social safety net. People like to forget that second part.
Yeah, well...
Or people on the right like to forget that second part.
Gee, and I wonder why.
Right.
It's all about trying to enrich the giant corporations, the people who are wealthy that have all the power. It's trying to enrich them at the expense of everyone else. And again, that ties back into eliminating these rules. They're now allowing corporations to be able to make more money by screwing over, of course, their workers. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.